Hello, everyone. This is Sam Ridgway, another episode of Tales from the Crypto with Cameron Sykes, our resident guru. And today, I think it's going to be a lot of fun because what we're going to do, this whole metaverse thing that we started talking about, which is coming, as we said, Facebook just changed their name to Meta, Microsoft's jumping in, Google's, everybody's jumping into this thing, kind of trying to shake this sort of thing out, build their own metaverses. There's probably going to be a few, all the rest of these things, but it's so up in the air right now, but it's so important. So today, Cameron says, hey, I'd like to talk about the metaverse, and I'd like to talk about NFTs as well, which are just important in the metaverse. So without further ado, Cameron, I would love to turn this over to you and explain to him what the metaverse is, NFTs, why it's important, and what they need to do to get in on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we've been hearing a lot of talk about metaverse to NFTs, but we haven't really dived into that. So maybe you're familiar with it, but don't really know exactly what it is or what it entails. So want to get you posted on that, give the details of what it's all about and why it's actually important to know. So I guess the best way to put it is that normally the internet is experienced as an app or a website viewed on the flat screens of a phone or a computer. You type a URL into a browser, jump from app to app on our phones as we navigate the World Wide Web. The metaverse is basically the internet, but with an immersive 3D user interface experienced in a virtual or augmented reality. The virtual world you find yourself in is a metaverse, and there are several and counting. Whether it be Decentraland, Sandbox, or Wilder World, each metaverse is unique in its design, but common trait they all share is that these virtual worlds are creating new economies with a room for virtually endless growth. Commerce in the metaverse is powered by NFTs. Property or products in the metaverse are purchased via non-fungible tokens. If you want to buy a digital bachelor pad next door to Snoop Dogg's mansion, the Sandbox metaverse, you do that by purchasing an NFT giving you the rights to that property. If you want to buy a pair of Nikes, you buy an NFT which gives you ownership of those shoes in both the real world and the Matrix. Now, you might be asking yourself, I thought NFTs were just random overpriced art, but they're actually much, much more than that. NFTs are basically just contracts that grant the holders rights to digital and or physical items like art, virtual property, land, collectibles, or other items. What's really cool is how some NFTs are not only represent ownership of a digital item, but they grant the holders special perks. A prime example of this is the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is a collection of 10,000 Bored Ape NFTs. And so owning an ape NFT gives access to a variety of exclusive events. In addition to apes are seen as status symbols. So Bored Ape Yacht Club has had several meetups around the world since its launch. A meeting in New York City included an actual yacht and celebrities. The meetup drew over 700 holders to the event. And that shouldn't be a surprise that they can afford such lavish events, considering the average price per Bored Ape is roughly $42,000, with Bored Ape 2087 going for 769 Ether, roughly $2.3 million. So in addition to the exclusive events, owning a Bored Ape is considered a digital flex. If you own an ape, you're among the likes of Post Malone, Steph Curry, and Jimmy Fallon. And another cool project I'm really into is the Space Travelers Club, which dubs itself as a real-life experience NFT project. The collection is made up of 9,999 space travelers, and each space traveler acts as a membership card, which grants the holder access to monthly travel events. These events include everything from NFL games, the World Cup final, festivals like Burning Man, Coachella, and even a safari out in the Serengeti. So what we see is that NFTs are being used as a funding vehicle, as vehicles to crowdfund projects. And the implications of this are really huge. So in theory, we could start an NFT collection that gives owners access to cool parties once a quarter. And so if you have 1,000 NFTs in that collection going for 1,000 a piece, that would gross you $1 million. And then you can essentially take that $1 million, go invest, and then use the proceeds to help pay for events, which you could write off as a business expense. So the possibilities of this are endless and really just limited to our imaginations on it.
Okay, so let's help me to understand this one further. So you could take 1,000 NFTs, like I as a consumer would buy this NFT, and then I would have access to like these locate destinations sort of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically they're acting as like membership clubs. So it's basically the NFT acts as your golden ticket to get you in the front door of this country club. And by holding that, you're essentially paying a couple $1,000s. And so why I say these are funding vehicles, essentially you start a collection of, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, 10,000 NFTs. Each one of those on average is going for like 42,000. So 42,000 times that's a fucking ton of money. They have all this money now, which basically goes to the guys who started it. and then essentially they can use a portion of the proceeds to go pay for events. And like the Space Travelers Club, they're making so much money that they're taking people on trips to Serengeti, like literally the World Cup final, NBA, NFL games, big festivals around the world, you name it. And literally you could just kind of make up, a club for anything, figure out the perks, and then you can just use these as vehicles to, help pay for it.
So what does my NFT look like? Like, is it on my phone? Is it, can I print it off?
Well, yeah, like so basically, like there are actually like companies out there right now where you can actually have like frames and displays in your home for your digital art. And so you can have it on your phone, you could have your collectibles holding in your wallet on OpenSea, or you could actually have stuff in your actual house that displays the art. Or it could be one of those people who has like a mansion in the metaverse. And then I took a tour of some random mansion in Decentraland the other day, and they had a really cool like NFT art gallery of all the stuff that they own displayed throughout that place. And so you could have it displayed in your digital mansion in the metaverse while also displaying it in your actual house in the real life.
Okay, and then I could probably use my NFT within the metaverse as well. I mean, because NFTs are like, even in games, right? Like swords and
it's really
armor.
just,
I mean, but what you have to do is just the NFT is just the material items or immaterial, apparently, because if you have a club membership, that's non-tangible, but they're the things inside of the metaverse
like
that can
an
also
NFT,
extend outside.
an NFT is really just an envelope containing a contract inside of it. And each like contract is like different depending on the collection that's coming from. It could just be like, hey, this entitles you just to this digital piece of art, or it could be a digital piece of art. And in addition to owning that, you're like, yeah, like now you get, exclusive member benefits, you get to go to cool parties and do other stuff. And you can really do whatever the hell you want with it, so you can create essentially anything out of it. And they're just literally unique items that help make this, little item more marketable to help you fund your project.
A lot of people are like, why would I buy an NFT when I just right click and save it? And my argument to that one is always, you could have a copy of the Mona Lisa too. Doesn't mean it's the Mona Lisa, and you could put it up in your house, and you could tell everybody it was the Mona Lisa, but it's not the Mona Lisa. When you have an NFT, there's a digital signature there that verifies that is indeed the original. It is indeed yours. So yeah, you could just right click and save. But if you're an art collector, you could have someone reproduce. I mean, if you're not, you could have someone reproduce a painting as well and put it in your house too. But you don't know the original.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it's just, and especially if comes with actual perks to it as well, you can't fake those either. So I mean, you could put up the Mona Lisa on the wall. Everyone's going to walk in and immediately know it's a fake. They know you don't have money in the same way it would with the Bored Ape. You still can't get into those events or anything like that. So it's more than just having this a picture of a monkey just looking stoned. You know what I mean?
There's now what is a consumer? Is just a normal consumer? Let's say the average Joe. Are there any NFTs that you might want to like look at, get, purchase, hold?
I mean, yeah, the most notable ones are going to be for people who have like more disposable income to put into these things. Obviously, like if you're going to be using an NFT to give you a virtual country club membership, typically in the real world, people go to have country club memberships, have X amount of money, the same way you would, in the virtual world. And so I think as the whole thing expands, there are basically going to be like a lot of projects are going to be used with NFTs. Like we see right now, online subscription boxes where you get a curated box filled of whatever based on a specific thing sent to your door each month. That's going to be done through NFTs now. And so I think a lot of things that you see happening on the internet and just normally online, those trends are going to move into the metaverse and be done via NFTs.
All right. So what else can we do with NFTs then? Because I'm trying to wrap my head around this. And again, I think I'm like more like the average person. And I'm just like, why would I want an NFT? Like I'm just trying to get the whole picture of it. Like,
well, like, let's say you want to go, well, it's the same way. Right now, if you just go online, you didn't feel like going to the grocery store, you want to have it delivered. You go to, whatever app, and then you could have it delivered to your house. You pay for that
we just ship. And they pick our groceries out, they send them right to our door to drop them off.
Yeah, exactly. But there's costs associated with that because there's a middleman involved. With this, essentially you could just have an NFT, and you could go at one point in the future buy an NFT for, you know, a case of beer or each individual items of groceries, and by buying those, that gives you the opportunity to go to redeem those and have that sent to your house, and that doesn't require a middleman. And because there's no expenses associated with that middleman being involved, that means less overhead, and it becomes, you know, more cost efficient for you, the consumer.
So Anheuser-Busch could work directly through me for a 12 pack instead of having to go through the store and the rest of this stuff, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's
All
just,
right.
you know, from, you know, product to consumer. And in
So,
fact,
and
there's a lot of
where
big
do you see
brands.
NFTs going in the future? Like, where do you see this going from now, where it's relatively new? Where do you see this going and having just commonplace within our normal, you know, things that we buy, things that we keep, and so on? How's it going to grow and get integrated into our life as just normal everyday people?
I think as the metaverse continues to evolve, and basically we see all the elements of our like physical reality in our lives move into the digital realm, and we're basically spending more time in these virtual worlds, and basically virtually in a brick and mortar store, like rather than going to Amazon on a website, you could basically be immersed in a virtual world of Decentraland and virtually walk to a quote unquote brick and mortar shop and buy that item right there as if you were actually there in person. You know, there are basically clothing stores where you can go in there, you use your avatar, and then you're like, okay, like you want to actually buy new clothes in the real world, you can go and try those on virtually, has it matched specifically to you. And if you like that item, and you purchase that NFT, giving the rights to that item, that gets mailed to your house. So you can actually have the item. Plus you have a digital copy of it through the NFT, which your personal avatar can then wear in the game.
So I could theoretically go in to Best Buy or whatever, look at something, play with it, turn it around. If it's a drone or whatever, fly it. I mean, I could do all of these things in the metaverse. And then if I liked everything that I saw, I could just buy it and then it would just ship to my house. Like,
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
how I would shop.
yeah, I mean, you could go and literally sell virtual drones, so people don't have to walk around to Central Land. They can go get aerial shots of the place. You can basically do anything and then sell each one of those individual drones as NFTs. And then that could potentially give you the rights to that drone in the digital world, but also in real life as well. And so basically all all like all brands and just companies that are selling products, it gives them the opportunity to get additional revenue because they're essentially being able to sell the product twice. You're able to get it in the real world and the digital world.
That's crazy. But you could just get in the digital world, right? Like if I
Yeah,
wanted a vehicle to move me around the metaverse, you know how humans are. Like I want this thing blinged out. I want, that if a car, I want, 30-inch rims on this thing. I can say, so you could get this NFT, that's your car. You actually it transports you in the metaverse from place to place. And it's
yeah,
kind of like your status symbol sort of thing that you have. So it could replicate almost everything in the real world into the digital world, and those all are going to be NFTs. Everything that you see is going to be NFT.